Hey everybody, it's a beautiful day outside. The birds are chirping and the breeze is blowing and I feel like cooking something, so let's do this. Okay, here we go everybody. We're gonna make an ancient Greek recipe. It's called spanakopita. And what it is, it's basically a spinach pie. However, I'm not making the pie. I'm gonna make little roll-ups with filo dough and the spinach stuffing. All right, now here's what I did. I took a 1 pound bag of spinach and I wilted it in that saute pan. And before I put the spinach in, I put in about a half of a small onion, and I kind of sauteed it. I didn't let it caramelize. All right. Then I just wilted the spinach, and it you know how spinach gets, it wilts. Okay, there went, I'm gonna say 3/4 of a cup of feta cheese, 1 egg, and I'm gonna add in two slices of provolone cheese, chopped up real small. Okay, now look, when you're dealing with filo dough is very delicate. I mean, this stuff is unreal. So you're gonna have some sheets that aren't cooperating. They're gonna break in half, you know, this and that. That's okay. That's not a problem. Don't worry about it. You know, it's filo dough. You know, you're not gonna have a perfect sheet. You're not going to have a perfect shape, you know, when it comes to the finished product. You know, don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. All right, now I want to mix in this egg. Make sure that it's slightly beaten before I mix in the other stuff. All right, there we go. Eventually I'm going to add in one more egg. It wasn't quite wet enough. See, what you do is after you wilt the spinach, and it's, you know, the spinach is all ready. There goes some salt. I held back a little bit on the salt because the feta cheese and the provolone are a bit salty, so I held back a little bit on the salt. Anyway, after you wilt the spinach, then what you want to do is you want to squeeze out all the water that's in there. You know, get rid of the water. So that's what I did here. I squeezed out the water, then I put it into a coffee strainer and I strained it some more. Then I put it into this bowl. I added 1 egg, salt, pepper, feta cheese, and provolone cheese. And you can see it's very dry. I mean, it's not, there's no liquid in there. All right, now I'm going to add in 1 more egg. There we go. Make sure you beat the egg before you mix everything up. All right, so that's it. The stuff is ready. I'm going to taste it just to make sure that, you know, if it needs adjustment or not. I do believe it needs a little more salt, but we're going to find that out here in a second. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to say that's a teaspoon of salt per 1 pound of spinach, about a cup of feta cheese, and 2 slices of provolone. Okay, now here comes the filo dough. Now, like I said, this stuff it's very delicate. Look at it, it's falling apart already. You know, what'll happen is here that it will dry out, and when it dries out, it gets really brittle, and it just breaks apart. So try not to let it dry out. Keep a wet rag on top of it. Not real wet, because then it's going to turn to, you know, it's going to turn back into wet dough, and you don't want that. You know how you make filo dough is you make a dough with flour, water, olive oil, a little bit of vinegar, and that's it. There's no yeast. Okay, then once you make this dough, then what you do is you roll it out and then you stretch it. I've been in bakeries where they stretch the filo dough over the entire wooden tables You know, I mean, these tables are big, and they just keep stretching it until it's like this, until it's paper thin, and then they use cornstarch, and then they fold it up. You know, they sprinkle cornstarch on it so it won't stick together, and then they fold it. But anyway, this stuff is very delicate, you know, so you have to be careful with it, be patient, don't worry, you know, about it breaking apart. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. All right, now what I'm doing here is I'm putting butter in between each layer. I'm going to put about, I don't know, somewhere between 5 to 8 layers, and there's butter in between each one. Now, what the butter's going to do is, as the dough heats up, you know, as the item heats up, once you put it in the oven, then the butter starts to fry the dough. You know what I mean? The butter gets hot, and then it starts to cook the dough. Okay, now there, I went with a spray, the spray stuff, and the reason I did is because I want to save the butter for the apple strudel at the end. But anyway, okay, so here, I cut those in half. There you go. And I roll them up like a whatchamacallit, an egg roll. Okay, you could fold them like a triangle too if you want, but I'm doing it like an egg roll. Watch, bring in one side, bring in the other, and then fold those two and just roll it. There you go, that's it. A little butter on top, throw them in the oven, and woo, 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 mama, that's good. They are good, I have to admit. This is what I had for dinner last night, was spanakopita. Ancient Greek secret. It's very simple. You know, it's very simple. You got the spinach is wilted, the onion is sweated. Then all you need is the filo dough. You buy that in the freezer. You let it thaw out in the refrigerator overnight. You lay it out. You brush it with the butter. You put the spinach in and roll it up. I mean, there's nothing to it. There's really nothing to it. This is one of the easiest things to make. Okay, so I'm just going to put in some more layers. Between 5 and 8 layers. It's up to you, however many layers you want. It doesn't really make a big difference, you know. I like to go with more layers. I like to taste the filo dough along with the spinach. But that's just me. All right, so here we are. We're just piling up the filo dough. You can see it's broken. It's, you know, it's cracked. It's falling apart. That doesn't mean anything. Trust me. You're going to roll it up. It's going to come out perfect. But you do have to put butter on each layer. Like I said, I'm using this spray stuff. You know, it's butter flavored. I mean, it's going to work. There's no doubt. All right, so here we go. There's the last piece that's, you know, I mean, this whole thing is falling apart. There we go. All right. Now, I think I'm going to put in a bunch of spinach, you know, like nine hits of spinach in there, and make like 9 egg roll things. Nope, it looks like 8 of them. Okay, that's cool. See, once you put the oil on, you don't have to worry about them drying out. They're not going to dry out with the oil on them. So, here we go. All right. Man, this is really good stuff, man. And it's good for you, you know. I mean, it's fresh spinach. You can't beat that. Alrighty. So, man, I don't know why this isn't in fast motion. It should be. Oh, also you got to have a beer while you're making this. You know, Socrates, the ancient Greek, used to make this stuff, and he always had a beer with him. Okay, so like I say, roll them up like an egg roll. You do one corner, then you fold in the two side corners, and then the bottom one goes over the first fold. Watch. That one there you can't see, but the next one you will. Then when you're done, you brush them on top, and that's it. They go into, 350-degree oven. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Okay. There we go. You can't see that one either, but you're gonna be able to see the other ones. Like I said, with filo, don't worry about it. Filo dough is gonna break apart. It's gonna get dry. It's gonna crack. Doesn't matter. The end product is what matters. Spanakopita matters. Just remember that. All right, there. Now you can see, folding them up like I say, you fold them like an egg roll. There we go. All right. Okay, that one piece is really big. I ate that one first. All right. Now we're done with the spinach. Now what I'm going to do is, I had these apples. They're canned apples. They come in a can. And I had some left over, so I put them into the freezer. These are them. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more sugar, a little bit more cinnamon to them, which I did. And then we're going to do the same thing as we did for the spanakopita, except I'm going to use the real butter for this one. We're making apple strudel. Not to be confused with apple streusel. There's a difference. Alright, so we're just going to start laying them out and buttering them. Okay. I knew I'd use them apples for something someday. You know, 1 pound of spinach doesn't really go that far. You know how spinach is. Man, you cook that stuff and it's gone. Alright, look. This is what I'm ending up with here. A whole bunch of broken pieces. There we go. Alright. Get some butter on there. You could use margarine. You could probably use olive oil. Well, for the apple, I don't know. Olive oil might not work out for you, but you could use olive oil for the spinach. Okay, again, we're gonna do, I don't know, 5 to 8. I don't really count them. I don't know. Okay, one more. Yep, one more. All right, here we go. One more. Well, that's good. It has a lot of layers to it. Nothing wrong with that. Alright. That's gotta be it. There can't be any more coming. Is there? Wait a minute. Oh! One more. Ah, yeah. Holy moly. It's a good thing about filo. It's so thin. You can't tell that there's 8 to 10 layers on there. You're never going to be able to know. All right, that's got to be it. Okay, here we go. Now we're just going to add the apples. Going to line them up. Okay. Man, these came out really good. I think it was sugar-free apples too. I think. I don't remember. I threw the can away a long time ago, so who knows? I can't remember. All right, now all you want to do now is to roll it up. You know, I just turned it. So be careful if you go to turn it. Just be very gentle. I mean, the whole thing could fall apart. You got to be careful. All right, look, there's some pieces there that are breaking off. This thing is starting to fall apart. Okay, looks all right. All right. That's good. That's enough. Let's go. Get it on. All right. It looks kind of small. You know, I didn't have a whole bunch of apples. Usually they're thicker than this. But the good part is you'll be able to taste the filo dough and the apples. All right. That's going there. They're going in the oven along with the spinach. I'm going to brush them on top, and here they are. Okay. I did switch the paper. You know, I took them off the burnt paper and put them on this one. Look at that, baby. Oh, man. Them are so good, man. Woo. You could put powdered sugar on the apple one. For the spinach, yeah, I wouldn't put anything. You could make a cream sauce and put it on. Hey, I got to tell you, you're not going to find this stuff any better than this, and I got to go. I got to eat.